This video is about interpreting quadratic functions, and I'm going to use the same functions as in the previous two videos. They're written down here for you. If you already have them graphed, well, then go and find them and use them to help you work through the questions with me. And if you don't, it might be a good idea to graph these first before you proceed with the rest of the video. So the first thing we're going to look at in this video is where functions are increasing and where they're decreasing. And of course, it's important to know what we mean by increasing functions and decreasing functions. Well, it's quite straightforward. Increasing just means that the function is sloping up, and decreasing then of course means just where it's sloping down. So here we have our f of x function again, and we want to figure out for what values of x is f of x increasing and for what values of x is f of x decreasing. So starting with increasing first of all, well, we said that increasing means that it's sloping up. So let's have a look at our diagram. We can see that our quadratic starts off sloping down, and then when it gets to the bottom, it turns and starts sloping up. You might remember that we called our maximum and minimum points previously turning points, and this is what we meant by that. The minimum point in this case is where the curve stops sloping down and starts sloping up instead. So f of x, this quadratic, is increasing from that bottom point up. So what I need to figure out is what x value is associated with that. And to do that, I just draw a line from the turning point to the x-axis. And you can see that I land here on the x-axis at 2. I can also see that my quadratic is sloping up after this. So after 2, I'm sloping up. So the way that I'll write this is x is greater than 2. This just means after 2, the function is increasing. Okay, next I want to know for what values of x is f of x decreasing. Well, if it's sloping up after 2, it's sloping down before 2. So I simply write my answer here as x is less than 2. Okay, so next we look at g of x. So we want to know for what values of x is g of x increasing and for what values of x is g of x decreasing. So it's the same idea. I look at my function. You can see quite clearly that it's increasing on the right-hand side of the function and it's decreasing on the left-hand side. Okay, so again, the turning point is crucial here. So I'll go to my turning point and draw a line to the x-axis. So let's see where I've landed. So I'm in the negative side and I'm at minus 0.5. So I'm increasing after this and I'm decreasing before this. So I'll say that I'm increasing when x is greater than minus 0.5, so after that, and I'm decreasing when x is less than minus 0.5. Okay, now we're on to h of x. So pause the video here yourself for a moment and see what do you think the solutions should be for these two questions. For what values of x is h of x increasing and for what values of x is h of x decreasing. Okay, so just like before, I'm going to go to the turning point and I'm going to draw a line straight to the x-axis. So it looks to me in this diagram like I'm landing at about 0.3. So let's see, where am I increasing? Well, I'm increasing after that, to the right of that. So I'll say I'm increasing after 0.3. So x is greater than 0.3, and then I'm decreasing before that. So x is less than 0.3. So we should be getting the hang of this by now. I've got my function j of x. I want to see for what values of x it's increasing and for what values of x it's decreasing. Pause the video here yourself for a moment and decide what solutions you'll give for each of these. Okay, so I go to the turning point and I draw a line to the x-axis. Use a ruler. And okay, I'm going to look at the value that I'm landing at now. So I'm going to say that's about minus 0.7. And the function is increasing after this, to the right of this line. So x is greater than minus 0.7. And the function is decreasing, sloping down before this line. So x is less than minus 0.7 for that part of the answer. Okay, and finally now we have k of x. So k of x is an n-shaped curve. And we can see that's because we've got a negative x squared term. And we want to find the values of x for which k of x is increasing and the values for which it's decreasing. So it's the exact same idea. Look for the turning point. This time the turning point is this maximum point here. Okay, then I'm going to draw a line from that to the x-axis, and I'm going to note where it lands. So I'm going to say that's about 0.3, and I'm going to then check and see where is the function increasing. Okay, so it's increasing when it's sloping up, so that's before I get to this line. So I'm going to say that k of x is increasing when x is, okay, what symbol do you think I should use? Less than or greater than? Is less than 0.3. And then it's decreasing after this point. So we'll say that it's decreasing when x is greater than 0.3. For your own sake, for accuracy, use a ruler and use a pencil. I'm only doing it in marker so that it's clearly visible on the video, but I wouldn't suggest doing that yourself.